Hi, I'm Gina. Thank you so much for stopping by today. If this is your first time here, I make these series of videos I call Let's Talk Mental Illness, where I discuss various topics to do with mental health and ways of coping with things. And I am not a medical professional. I am a diagnosed person with bipolar disorder, PTSD, severe depression, and some other things. So I am considered a consumer, and if you are diagnosed as well, then I am considered your peer. And I simply talk to you, give you some advice about the ways that I have handled things in my 54 years of life. And I also ran a support group for DBSA back a few years ago where I was taught a lot of things to do with mental illness, such as diagnoses, what they look like, how to treat them, symptoms. And then I ran a support group where we basically would just sit down and talk about all of our difficulties and share with each other things that help and encourage each other. And since I have not been able to run a support group for a very long time, I discovered the YouTube channel and that I could get on here and talk to people. And I know it's not as good as face-to-face. I can't see you. I can't hear you. But I hope that in some way that just me talking to you and giving you some advice and experience of my own, that this will help you in some way to help you benefit. Basically in knowing that you're not alone, that I've been here, I can help. There are all kinds of avenues that you can reach out to people. If you would please look at the description box when you go back to when my video is over and it gives the title of the video. There's a little arrow that you can click on, and that goes down to the description box. And I add all kinds of websites and phone numbers and information for you that's helpful throughout recovery and living with mental illness, education, ways of reaching out for support. So I hope that you do check on that when you're finished watching my video. And if this is your first time here, I'd like to welcome you. Again, my name is Gina, and the series of videos that I do here is called Let's Talk Mental Illness. And each time I have a topic, and today's topic is PTSD, otherwise known as post-traumatic stress disorder. And a lot of people, for many years, they thought it only pertained to military personnel who have been in war or simply in some kind of combat or even training. And it is certainly traumatic. And I cannot imagine what that would be like to live through those kind of situations. But over recent years, it has also branched out into other areas. And I looked it up online. And basically it is described as a disorder in which a person has difficulty recovering after experiencing or witnessing a terrifying event. So this can be someone in my life recently had a car accident on the highway when it was snowing, and she's very young, and it really, really terrified her. She messed up her back a little and broke a finger and had a lot of bruises, and she wasn't seriously hurt, but her car was totaled. And, you know, just the fact that was her first accident, and being on the highway of all places, she's had a very difficult time getting in the car and driving, especially on the highway. And it has traumatized her. So she has been diagnosed with PTSD because of this. And another part of the description that I looked up is the condition may last months or years with triggers that can bring back memories of the trauma accompanied by intense emotional and physical reactions. And basically, the triggers are obviously if you repeat what you were doing when the trauma happened, that will do that. And if it happened a long time ago, sometimes just a smell or a place that you've been to or seeing someone that you haven't seen for a while and it pertained to that time and place where your trauma took place can trigger your memories and trigger all of these things that will have emotional and physical difficulties. Myself, I am diagnosed with PTSD because I went through a lot of trauma as a child growing up, things that happened in my family that were inappropriate and should never happen to a child. And I just stuffed it. I never told anybody, my friends, anything. When it did come out, some of my friends said that they knew something was wrong, but they didn't know exactly what or how they could help. So I was diagnosed with PTSD because I didn't tell anyone. It was very traumatic, and I did what I call stuffing it. I stuffed it down my pants, stuffed it in the back of my mind to where I just didn't deal with it. And in doing so, your brain will also cause you to block painful memories, and I discussed this in my last video where I was having a difficult time with it. I had gone through some of the journals. I just found them by accident. I was looking for something else, and I opened up one of them, and it was during the time that shortly after I'd had my mental breakdown, and my kids were having difficulties of their own, and it was just horrible what they went through, what I had to go through trying to help them as their mother, feeling helpless. And that triggered a lot of those memories, and that was traumatic for me. Having to see my children going through all of that, and that's another thing that I had stuffed away, but just reading a few pages of that brought back all of the memories, and it just totally ripped my heart out again, and I was very depressed for several days. But for my PTSD, I was in my 30s, and I've always had anxiety and depression. I did not know what bipolar disorder was. I did not know what PTSD was. So when I started having all these problems to where I just cried all the time, I just wanted to sleep, I couldn't handle anything, I saw my doctor, and he sent me to a psychiatrist. And while I was talking to the psychiatrist, he was just asking general questions about, my life, where I grew up, about my kids, how old they were, and everything. And then without even looking at me, he asked me if I was ever abused. And I hesitated at first because I never told anyone. And at first, the easiest for me to admit was that my mother had verbally and emotionally abused me my whole life. I was never good enough for her. I was never pretty enough for her. I was either too fat or too skinny. And she just really, I had no self-confidence whatsoever, because I felt like I was what she told me I was. But then I admitted to him that I'd never admitted to anyone that my father had been inappropriate with me. And so he asked me what age I was when that started, and I was 11 years old. And I don't remember it stopping, but he looked at me and he says, "And how old is your oldest daughter?" I said 11. And he said, "Well, a lot of times with women that have been abused, when they have a child that comes of age that they were when the abuse started, that will trigger everything that it's always been in the back of my mind. But when my daughter turned 11, it was right here. And it just brought everything to the forefront of my mind. And with that, I was diagnosed with PTSD. And I had nightmares and just horrible things that happened. So basically, that's a definition of PTSD. And the example of this person that's close to me with the car accident, and with me and what the trauma I dealt with in my youth and growing up. And it can be a lot of things for a lot of different people. But if you do have PTSD, or you suspect that you have PTSD, it's nothing to be ashamed of. You're not flawed. It's very normal and natural for you to react the way that you do. But I do want to stress to please get mental health help from a professional, from your family doctor, therapist, anything that you can basically talk to people about and get properly diagnosed and get treatment. There are options. So those are just some examples of what it can be. And since it can be only months or even years, depending on what has happened, for some people, like with this person I know with the car accident, she's going to suffer with that for a while every time she gets behind the wheel. It's always going to be in the back of her mind, especially it was snowing, and I believe it was dark, and, excuse me, so whenever she gets behind the wheel of a car, she's always apprehensive and really scared, and she tries to fight it, but it's even worse if it's in the dark or it's raining. I don't think we're going to have any more snow, but it's just always in the back of her mind. And I also have had two traumatic car accidents that I had to deal with a lot, but I was able to get over that because the last job I had, I actually drove medical transportation for people, and I loved it. But I had an accident with that, and I don't want to go into all of that, but I was physically and mentally damaged to where I could not work. And just recently I've been approved for benefits, and I'm going to be able to start over again, have my own life, have my own place, and my own stuff again. So it's going to be wonderful to have all of that. But back to the PTSD, just know that there are treatments. There are coping skills. I suggest that you get a therapist, someone that you're comfortable with. For me, I've always had a woman therapist and one that's a Christian, because I am Christian and I believe that my faith and God's promises have helped me get through most of everything that I've been through. And it was important to me to have a woman that was also a Christian that could help me with the faith-based therapy as well. So I think that's really about all that I can say for now, other than there are avenues to reach out. Again, if you will look in the descriptions of this video and all of my videos, I have listed a whole bunch, a wealth of websites and phone numbers and organizations where you can get help for many different issues, for mental illness, for substance abuse, for a lot of things. And to let you know that I am here. I have been there. I can help. I care about you. I was a support group leader because I do want to help people. I have a lot of head knowledge to where I can give you some advice of experience, things that I've learned. And I just really miss being face to face with people in a support group, because they would come to the group and we'd sit at the table, we'd go around and introduce ourselves, and if we were comfortable, to give a brief description of our diagnosis. And I'd see people come in, just hang their heads and cry. That's the way I was with the first support group meeting that I went to. And for me, I just hung my head and cried. I wouldn't talk. I just said my name, looked at the floor, but I started hearing people talking about things that I went through. And I was just so surprised that I was not the only one that went through all of this. And for people who are newly diagnosed or those who have not had proper treatment and education in what they're dealing with, it's so very important. So if you've stopped by here today accidentally, I'm so glad that you stopped by, because I want to encourage you that it will get better. There are options, and I'm here to support you. Just come back. If you like this video, be sure to press the like button. And that way you can always come back to it if you would like, or you would like to show someone else. Another thing is, if you share these videos with your friends or family, anyone, I want to help as many people as I can. So if you can share this with as many people as you can, I would really greatly appreciate it, because I want to help as many people as I can. I want to talk to as many people as I can. So if you like this video and share it, and then also subscribe to my channel, then you'll be notified when I have new videos that come up. And if you go back to my actual YouTube channel, you will see that I have, I think, 24 videos up. I'm pretty sure this one's the 25th. I'll have to go back and double check. But I cover a lot of different topics through experience and things that I've learned. So be sure to go back and look at all of those videos. And I pray that they are helpful for you. And just knowing, number one, that you're not alone. That there are lots of people that go through exactly what you're going through right now, and the things that you've dealt with throughout your life. So at this time, I do want to say that if you feel like you are in a mental health crisis, if you feel it's serious to where you could hurt someone, would you please call 911 and get some help? The professionals that are in the hospitals can help you so much. I've been there. I can talk to you about it, and I've been in and out many times, and every time they have been able to help me tremendously. Also, there is a suicide prevention hotline that I will put across the screen here with the phone number. They are professionals. They are free. They are available 24/7 every day of the year. So if you feel like you could hurt yourself, or you're just thinking about it, or you're just very, very despondent, call this number. I will leave it up on the screen for a while. Call this number and they will be able to help you tremendously. Also, if you would like just someone to text with, to chat with, NAMI has a warm line, and you just text this number, and people will chat with you through your phone, through text messages. So if you'd be more comfortable with that, you can do that, and they will give you lots of valuable information, and they have a lot of compassion, and they care. They really care, and they're great at what they do. So feel free to reach out that way. Also, I will put my email address across the screen. I put that out there for anybody. You can talk to me about anything. If you have questions, you just want to vent about something, you feel alone, email me, and I will listen to you. I will respond, and it will be completely confidential and private. I will not speak to anyone about it, and certainly not here on my YouTube channel. I would also love for you to leave a comment, even just a thumbs up or a heart or a smiley face, just to let me know that you're out there and that you've watched this, and that just let me know that somebody's there. I see that I have people watching, and I have several people that have subscribed to my channel, so I know people are watching, but I just like, it gives me encouragement to know that I am being able to help people. I feel like this is what God has given me to do with my life, and that's why I'm here. So I hope that this video has been able to help you in some way. Please go back to my channel and look at all of the other videos that I have over various topics. I have depression, seasonal affective disorder. I have some of my poetry that I've written, some of my artwork that I've done through art therapy, just a lot of different things, and I'd love for you to go back and watch those. And as well, like those, comment, anything that you can do. So I will let you go for now. Thank you for stopping by. I'm so glad that you did. I wish I could see you, but I will say it's good to see you, and I'm glad that you're here, and I hope that you come back. So for now, I will leave you, and I will say God bless you. Have a fantastic day, and until we meet again, bye-bye. Take care.